Okay, so we'll just close this and go to which page?
No God.
No God.
What's the evidence for God?
Hold on. Right.
And we have a very nice level 1.
Okay, so a level 1 page.
A level 1 page.
And you're happy that this category tells you level 1s and level 2s? You notice that?
Yeah, so it's good. Now, if you click on the evidence of creation, this is where, unfortunately, you discover that I have really fouled things up. And I think, after spending the whole of this morning at this particular issue, I think the reason is that I didn't save the images in the 400 by 400 format. So that screwed up the placing and stuff like that.
Okay, so this is the page here, no God?
That's right, and if you click on the evidence for creation, you will now see a horror story.
Oh, okay, so it goes to here. Alright, so that's just image size. That's all that's causing that.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you resize the images to 400 by 400, that'll fix that.
That'll fix that. Right,
you can. There's a quick fix you can do to it, which I can show you. So this is created universe. Let me just look at that.
Created universe and God. I think it's called created universe and God.
Generally, with the search function, you only need one word because it'll pull up a few of them. But
that would hugely help.
Which one? Created universe.
Created universe and God.
Oh, okay. I've clicked on the wrong one.
Yep.
So I have to wait for it to come up and close it and go back.
That's all right. It's okay. The created universe is a level 3, whereas created universe and God is a level 2.
Okay. So here we go. Let's just do that. And okay. So the quick way of fixing it, but not a good way of fixing it,
right,
is to if you click on an image, right, and then click on the image, insert image button, you can actually in here force all images to be 400 by 400. So you type into the dimensions 400.
Okay.
But you have to unclick that proportional button.
Right.
Right.
Yes,
so,
I get you.
Right, and then if you do that.
Okay. And then that solves it.
Yeah.
Saves you having to go into Photoshop and all the rest of it.
However, it does distort the images. So we would
sometimes.
Sometimes you can put up with it because you just think, I don't care. Right? Generally, if we did it for a client, they would complain like blazes. So, right, which is fine because you expect if you pay us to do it, it's done correctly.
Of course, absolutely.
But I'll just run through them all and do it, right?
Okay.
So you're just doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
I'm using tab to jump between them.
Right. Okay.
Because it's quicker.
Right. Okay.
And you can see the resizing.
Yeah.
It's adjusting the sizes.
Yeah.
The kind of problem you get when you do it this way is it can make it a bit difficult for the system when it comes to resizing for mobile.
Okay.
So generally, when we do it, we wouldn't do this kind of stuff.
Right.
What we would do is we would size the image correctly, and we wouldn't put in dimensions.
No, I noticed you put in percentages.
Yeah,
right.
because
that means
it then automatically adjusts,
okay.
Right?
Okay.
One more to do. Which is a much better way of doing it, really.
Yeah.
But I understand it can be a bit problematic. Right, so I've changed all of them. If I just click Save now and we go back to this page and do Control F5, hopefully they'll all work.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Superb.
So that's a simple way of doing it.
Okay. Now, I'm very proud of myself for having managed to get what's the evidence for God. And if you click on the Word of God, the Bible.
Where's that?
Under the same, what's the evidence for God? Top.
This one?
No. Top.
Oh, this. Okay. Yep. So we click on here.
And if you go down, scroll down, and click on the Word of God, the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
You'll now see a perfect.
Very good.
That's taken me all day to do that. Okay, so I think probably I don't need to get you to look at the other pages that I've screwed up, the level 2 pages, but what I do need to do is to get you to have a look at the home page.
Okay, so
which again I have managed to do something to, which is really silly. And you'll notice on the home page now we have a slider. We have a slider that
wasn't there before.
Wasn't there before, and actually, again, we could maybe talk about this one again. I'm not sure whether that isn't possibly a good thing to have, particularly for the mobile side of things.
I tend to think you should just have the welcome to the 310 courses stuff below the main heading.
Okay.
It's not going to be...
Okay. Now, the problem is I don't know what I did. I obviously interfered.
You've obviously just put it in the wrong part. The division, which is what holds the stuff, you've obviously just put it in the wrong part.
Now, I noticed, and we talked about this the last time, I think, I noticed that there was actually a wee slider on the right-hand side of this page, which I wondered whether it had crept in there because...
I suspect not. I think it'll just be something else.
Right.
I remember
saying we were going to have a search button at some point.
Yeah. So let me just do Control-AC and then go to here and do... So I've just taken a copy of the page, right?
Right.
Which means that anything I do wrong now is probably okay. So if we go right up the top then, so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into, let me just find a different thing, if I could just find on here. Hold up. So if I just do it here, and you found this thing. So I'm just going to open up on Dreamweaver a blank HTML page.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. And I'll copy and paste this in here. See. Just for something like this, Dreamweaver will make it a bit easier because I can do file, where is it, code, apply source formatting,
right,
and it'll format all the code up for me.
All right.
Just makes it easier to see what's going on.
Right, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I can now see, if I click on here, you can see it highlights the top and the bottom of the div.
Okay.
Which is really the thing that we want to see.
Yeah.
Now we're looking for this first then is first text. Is there anything before that? Is first text the first thing? Yeah, and then we've got tile module creator, welcome to 310 course.
And then it comes underneath that.
And we've got mini menu.
That comes lower down underneath.
Yeah, so what I would do is I would flip back to here and I would look at the home page and I would see that actually the welcome to the 310 course is in the wrong place. It should be above choose your route through the course, right?
Well, it is above the route.
But it's actually inside this piece up here. You see, you can tell because it's scrolling up and down.
Right, okay.
Right, so if I now jump back here, I can look at this and say, right, so that the welcome to the 310 course, which is this bit here.
Okay.
So I'm highlighting it, shows up in the video, yeah?
Yeah.
Is actually kind of the issue.
Okay.
So if I take the div from there and stick it up there, what I've done is I've moved the end of the division.
Yep.
Control A, Control let's stop that stuff. HTML. Just check I'm not getting any extra stuff in there. So all I've done is I've copied that text
and taken it out from that div and put it lower down.
And yep.
Right.
repositioned it slightly.
Right, okay, I get you.
F5. I'm not saying it'll definitely work this time, but it'll get much closer to where we want to be.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've just moved that text into it. Okay, so I've obviously got the divs not quite right.
Okay.
So if we click on that, it's that and that. So actually what we want to do is move this into there. So I didn't get quite the end of the division correct.
Okay.
Right, so I can tell that because if you remember before, this text was outside this scrolling box.
Yeah.
And now it's inside that scrolling box.
Right, okay.
So I got the...
You got the div right now.
Hopefully I've got it correct this time.
Okay.
So I can just do Control A, Control C, and we can just reload that page. Save that, and hopefully this time we'll see. Right, so this is in the wrong place, but that's okay. Where's the? Oh,
down below.
Down below. I think it's because this part here isn't quite right. Anyway, so I would go on like that until I made sure that the thing was correct. I suspect that the problem with that actually is just a simple one, which is
would it be easier actually just to go to the thing about versions, actually, and go
possibly.
back to versions?
Possibly, but you know, it's not as much fun.
I agree. It's better for the blood pressure.
Yeah. Both. You know, compared to some of the problems we see, it's certainly not the worst.
Okay.
Not by a long way. So I just Control C that. Let's take this in here like that, right? And then Control A, C. Okay, Control B. Save.
Now there's an interesting thing actually that coming out of that error, we've got an interesting thing there, Alan. One of the things that was bothering me was the length of the welcome page. Because we've got 3 sets of images, and it might put somebody off, you know, who's just kind of clicking.
So we could take this main image out if you want. Let me show. I can show you what it would look like without.
I'm not. I'm not so concerned about taking the main image out. But what I am interested in is what's happened as a result of this error, and that is that you are left with the clickable links for the icons that were there, which have disappeared.
Oh, you mean the?
So what we've got now is we've got these here without actually the images on top, which is removing a huge amount of space on that page.
Yeah, no, I understand. You could create a menu without those images and just have those 3 things underneath here.
I'm wondering whether that might be a good idea.
Okay.
Because it's taking up too much of the page.
So I could do it. I'll have to do that separately, if that's okay.
Yeah. And actually, that was another thing that was I was going to ask you about is I wasn't able to get into that.
Oh, okay. I can show you that.
Into that bit, or into the. I wanted, for example, to play around with the possibility of putting the tagline in italics, and underneath the heading, the overall heading on the home page, to put the tagline actually in italics, but I couldn't get actually into that.
Right.
Into that page. Although, ironically, in the course of my perambulations this morning, I did come across that page somewhere or other.
So let me just return it to the way it was before we started playing about with it.
Okay.
Which is why I put it in things like Dreamweaver or something like that, because it's it's very easy now just to
import,
put the old version back up, right? So
yeah, I think that's probably a better idea than having the now you've got the worst of both.
Yeah, I can fix that. That's fine. So we'll leave this text in here.
Yeah.
We'll take these out.
We can take the actual pictures out, and can we take the slider out as well?
Yeah. So I'll do that, and I'll let you know once it's done. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
I'd have to fiddle about a bit to get it to. I can do that now if you want, or we can do other things. Whichever you want.
I think probably if we can get this sorted, because I think the rest of the things I'm beginning to make headway with.
All right. So let me just.
So if we could get the home page looking okay, and if you could also show me how I can get to alter the bits that I haven't been able to get access to at the moment, like for example.
So like being able to adjust the thing with the menu we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm noticing, for example, I don't know what it's like on your. You were talking about iPads and iPhones and things like that. On my HTC, it doesn't resize things properly.
Okay.
When you go down into mobile.
Okay, so we can have a look at that on here.
And size of type is another thing that I thought that would be worthwhile playing around with.
Yeah, some of these, the font has been put in directly. I'm not quite sure why.
That's probably my fault, because I haven't downloaded any of the Google fonts yet.
Oh, okay. So generally we would never put font size into here. We would put it in a class, because then it allows you to manipulate it a bit better. But anyway, whatever. It's fine. We can adjust
I've been using the size of fonts that you put in for H1, H2, H3, and so on. And paragraph. The paragraph size of things seems to be pretty small.
Silence that from the back a bit. Here we go. So I think what's happening here is it's needing height and stuff like that. So if I just look here and look at this.
I really think actually that error that we made this afternoon has been a good good discovery. It's much less intrusive.
So tile 1 container. Actually what you want is tile 1 container homepage there, and this div here is for this here. Just work out the height of this. So quickly go to height. Let's try height auto.
You're using Chrome
yeah.
to do your editing.
Yeah, so generally I would always use Chrome as a browser of choice, mainly because it will give us the ability to easily inspect pages and stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So and play about with them.
Right. I didn't realise actually you could do that.
Yeah, oh, let me show you.
Okay.
It's fairly straightforward. So if we want to look at what's going on with Chrome, okay.
I have actually gone into Chrome and had a look at view source and inspect and stuff like that.
So inspect is very good because it allows us to do quite a lot. I'll just move that over like that a bit, and if we now look here, this is the article body which contains everything, and then look here, tile container 1 is this stuff up the top here.
Okay.
Okay. And then within tile container 1, we've got the verse text, we've got the There's the verse text, if I can show you that.
Yeah.
Verse text is just the Philippians at the top.
Yeah.
Then the image is this bit here.
Yeah.
And then we've got H2, which is welcome to, and then...
and that H2 is an anomalous one because it's actually a huge size of font in comparison with the H2s for the ordinary articles.
So I'm not quite sure where this stuff comes from.
That's me.
Okay.
Fiddling around with font.
So I definitely wouldn't do that. We should adjust the H2 class to enable that to work correctly.
And I've been using the slider in the font section on the article page, which is probably a bad thing as well. Yeah.
So I think one of the reasons that we're seeing it's kind of difficult to see how this all works is there's all this extra kind of styling in here, which we don't really want.
No.
So we just remove a lot of that styling.
I have been actually. I've noticed that when I've been going into the code, I've been taking out unnecessary spans and things like that. It seems to put in for some reason or other.
Well, when you put in, when you put in a font like here, you've got style, text align center, etc. Right?
Yeah.
When that goes in like that, it helps to clog the whole thing up. Really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you put in color like that, it does really clog the whole thing up. Right. So I would generally take all of that kind of stuff out and not have it. If we needed to, adjust the font size and stuff, we would adjust it in the class.
Okay, that brings me to another thing. We're talking about color, and that is the coding for each of the 3 different sections of the course that we've got. We've got green, blue, and red for the 3 main sections. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I noticed that you've put in. If I go into what's the evidence for God, for example, and I go down to the Word of God, you've got a green coding line along the top of the images, which is great. And then if we go down to a level 3, the green line is there again as well, which means that folk know exactly where they are. But that's not the case for others.
Okay.
I've noticed. So I don't know what part of the coding actually is affected by that.
Okay. So let me just take out. So you can see I've already ripped out quite a lot of the different sizing. So we have things like this here, right? Yeah. So
I've taken
that doesn't actually do anything.
No, I've taken stuff like that out as well.
Okay. So if we now put that back in,
and I'm not at all clear that even is necessary either. That kind of thing. I have been going into the code and looking at that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just Control V, save that.
Okay.
So you can see. So what this has done is it's put it back to how it was
originally.
Right, by removing all that other code.
Yeah.
Well, CSS really.
Yeah.
It enables it to flow correctly.
Okay. Now, supposing we wanted to move that up.
This up a bit?
No, this bit. Supposing we wanted to move that up so that it's balanced there. You've got the same amount of space above and below.
Okay, so I would do inspect at that point.
Okay.
And I would look, where is it? Welcome to the 310 course. Yeah. Right, you can see there's, by hovering over it, you can see on here that the, colour flesh, brown, whatever they call them, bars, that shows you the actual padding above and below. In this case, it's actually margin above and below the text.
Right, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then there's a space this thing here.
Yeah, which is producing additional padding as well.
Yeah, so if I could delete that element,
yeah,
and that'll show you it with, which kind of makes it match up a bit more.
A bit.
Now, if I now look at, where were we here? This div here also has stuff. So I'm
which is not needed at all, is it?
Let's just have a look here. Yeah, so it also has a non-breaking space on there. Okay.
Right.
We might have to track that one down.
That's it.
That's it. That's starting to come back.
Okay. Now suppose we take out the images for this, but leave the.
Okay. So let's do the spacing first, one thing at a time. Really, is what I would suggest.
Yeah.
So this one can definitely go.
Yes. I've been taking out ones like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can definitely take that out.
Yeah.
Which was part of it. That was not the whole thing because.
And you could also check that one out as well.
Which one? Oh, this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could say yes.
Okay.
So if I go here and take that out like that, this.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a space problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I suspect, I don't know for sure, but I suspect that actually in the menu for mini menu, there is a non-breaking space. So we'll have to go and look at that to check. Okay.
Okay.
Control A, Control C, right here, and just go to.
And what you're saying is you control the coloring and stuff from CSS.
Yeah.
Rather than.
Absolutely, we don't control it from.
We don't want inline stuff from HTML. Okay.
Wherever possible, I would put it in CSS.
Yeah.
There are a few edge cases where you could, put it in its inline.
So HTML5 is that, or CSS3? Does that use block quote?
Block? Oh, you mean inline block? Well, yeah, but this uses inline block too. So
okay.
I wouldn't.
Right. Okay.
Right. So that spacing looks better.
Still not quite right, but it's much.
But I think that's the space that we're going to go and find.
Okay.
Okay. So if we can open up a different tab. Here we go. And extensions, modules. This is where the mini module is.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
These are definitely not something to play about with.
No. I gather that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you know what you're doing.
Sure.
Right, because this will make lots of things look broken.
Sure.
And sure enough, you can see at the top of that there's a non-breaking space. This thing here. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we saw when we looked in the element inspector.
Okay.
And then if we go back here, Control F5, it'll take that space out. Okay.
Brilliant.
So it takes it out.
Brilliant.
So the next thing we need to do is decide. This appears on lots of pages. This.
I don't think we need. Those images. Actually, I think the images are probably. They're overpowering.
Okay.
But what we've discovered this afternoon is it would be very helpful to keep text. The text.
Okay. So let me save this as a copy.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
If I just do that, then we have it, so that if we decide that it's not right, we can revert back. Okay. And then let me just jump back into the one that's actually published. It's here. And we can actually remove the images. So image, just.
What are you in at the moment?
This is the mini menu.
Right. Okay.
So all I'm doing is
you're removing
deleting
images.
the actual images themselves.
Right.
As a starting point to see what it's going to look like.
Okay.
I suspect there might be some other formatting we need to do.
Okay.
Depending on how we set the CSS up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So if we do that. So wait a minute, call that.
Because again, the key to this. Has it disappeared? It has.
Yeah, and that's because there's no image there. That's what I was saying about the formatting.
Uh-huh.
It is actually there, it's just you can't see it. So what I would do here is I would put on here an inline style, like this style. Can't spell style. SD equal to height. Oh, pressing the wrong button. Height colon 40 px. 40 px, right?
Okay.
And now I would try that on the page. So this is where I would use an inline style, just so I can see if it's working.
Right.
And then I would go and adjust the CSS class. I wouldn't faff about and put it the other way around.
Right.
Because I want to see if it comes up.
Hasn't appeared, has it?
Let me just look. So I
do think that though that is the solution.
Yeah.
Is that you've got both your navigation potentials on each page without the images actually taking up a whole lot of the space of the page, which is too intrusive.
Yeah, I just wondered why it wasn't showing up. Custom. So edit HTML, and then just stick it at the bottom. Oops. Sorry, state it. Style equal clear both. Keyboard does not want to type. Let's go back and clear both. Right, so just put that in. So put that in. Okay, so it hasn't taken the size. It was on the first one I put, it wasn't it? Why did it take the size? 9 times.
Yeah.
Still
it's not there.
Okay, so here we go. I'm good, thank you. Yeah. Excuse me just a second. Sure. Okay. Did I click? Yeah. So the thing we need to do this is to remove these classes. Just take them out. We'll take each of them out and hopefully that'll help. Just look in here. 310 course. custom is this, tile container, tile box.
The file placement folder side of things is separate from the images, isn't it? It was an overlay.
Yeah.
So presumably that is a separate div, is it?
Yeah, the way we set these overlay divs up is by accurately positioning them.
Right.
And what you're seeing here is the need to re-accurately position everything.
Oh.
I don't think I took out all the classes. What's this one? Yeah, so I didn't take out all the classes. But,
have you still got your 40px fine?
No, I can't remember. To be honest, I don't think that makes a difference. It's not that that's controlling it.
Right.
Right. So we have them here.
We are making progress.
So what we need to do now is format them into the look and feel that you're wanting.
Okay.
So
is it going to go across the whole page?
Yeah, we can do that.
Probably sensible. So you've got a 1200px width, is it, for that?
Yeah, so we wouldn't do it that way. We would do sound module width would be
100%.
no, we do width 33.3%. Right. Correctly. Need my other keyboard. Right. So each of these is now taking up 33.3% of the holding div, right? And therefore what we want is to make sure that the holding div is taking up 100% of the space. Excuse me.
So is that the container for that?
Yeah, something's knocking it out of kilter for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's altered the size of the image as well.
So let's put it back to what it was. And do this again. This and this. So this one here. So width is 100%. That's okay. So this is the container here, and then each of these tile boxes should be 33%. Okay. Puts them across the page correctly.
Yeah.
And then, excuse me, we need to decide the colouring for each of these, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
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 So what I'll do is I'll go away and I'll redo them into that.
Okay.
This is a bit fiddly, rather than spend your time. I mean, you're welcome to watch, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really hugely helpful, by the way.
So that's how we would change all of that CSS and so on.
Okay.